Hola. All right, that's not bad. My name is Rubén Castilla Herrera. It's good to be here. You know, I really don't know what to say that hasn't been said, but I want to do a couple things. One is for sure, I want to say that to vote no on issue two, plain and simple, vote no on issue two. Next Tuesday is the election, correct? And also issue three, vote no on issue three, and on 22, vote yes, right? So I want to make sure you do that. But I also want to speak to you. Can you hear me? Look at me if you can hear me. All right, all right. I want to speak to you on a personal basis because even though our numbers aren't grand here, what's important is more than numbers. What important is the question is, why are you here today? What is it what is that inner voice, that personal voice telling you about justice in your life, in this city, in this county, in this state, in this country, in this world? What is that voice telling you about justice? And to me, that's the important question. Because when we look at Occupy, and you look at that 99%, that 99% is a lot of people, right? And there's a lot of diversity in there. I took some notes that I had from We Are Ohio. And by the way, where are the We Ohio people? I say, where are they? uh, I, I took some notes, and a lot of it is great stuff, but what it talks about is specifically is hurting the middle class. And it's about hurting the middle class. But it always causes me to ask, well, what about the lower class? What about the working class? What about the homeless? What about those that don't have a voice necessarily? What about them? Well, they're part of the 99% as well. All right. And so that's why you're here. And so that voice of justice that you have wherever it came from, for some of you, it's just you were raised that way. For some of you, it's a spiritual part of who you are. For some of you, you've learned it. And some of you are just wondering, and maybe that's why you're here. But regardless of why you're here, that voice is going to be what sustains us and what moves us. The difference between the Occupy movement, which is on the other side of the gates over there, officially, and this movement is that movement, as I understand it, as I am part of it, is built for resilience. There's no finish line. The cause for justice moves on and on and on. And the great news is that we didn't start it, right? The path of justice is fully known. It's been fought by many, many before us. And it's going to be fought by many, many after us. So the Occupy movement, as I know it, there's no finish line. People aren't saying, I can't wait till November 8th till this is over, because it's not over. All right? And that part of that inner voice, I want you to understand, for the young people here, and for those that are middle-aged, and those that are elderly, and those young adults, and you name it. And regardless of where you come from, I happen to be Latino. I was born in the country of Texas, I would say. I'm a migrant. I am a migrant. You know, some of you from Texas, you understand what that means. I'm a migrant. I'm a person of color. I'm bilingual. I'm a Latino. But you know what? I'm also a Buckeye. I've been here most of my life. And I'm also an American. So what I want, yes, you can clap for that. What I'm going to ask you to do is really to listen to that inner voice, because that inner voice is more than a voice. It's more than coming to a rally. It's even more than actually Occupy. I was here last night for a few hours till about midnight, and there's actually people here, people that are staying overnight, right? So it's a commitment. It's a commitment to stay overnight. And that's not it only, because occupying means occupying. I remember back in the day when I was organizing in the West Coast, Occupy, we used to do that all the time. We would occupy in order to take over something. We would just stay there. That's how we got the Latino Center in Seattle, Washington, is that we organized and we actually sat in this old school that we wanted, we demanded. It was not being used. It was in the Latino community. We demanded that it be turned over to us. And it took us 4 years for that to happen. 4 years. I was in high school. So we occupy. So occupy is not a new concept, but it also what it is. It's a commitment. It's a commitment to do what you have to do. I'm involved primarily in the immigrant rights movement nationally, and let me tell you about the immigrant rights movement, where they're at, and specifically the Dreamers, who are young people that are fighting for the DREAM Act, young people between the ages of 16 and 30. This is where they've evolved it. They've said, I'm willing to be arrested, I'm willing to be deported for the greater good, for what I believe in. And not only being deported, but listen to this, and this is radical. They say, I'm willing to die for what I believe in. Let me tell you, I, Rubén Herrera, I am willing to be arrested, I am willing to be deported, and I am willing to die for what I believe in. I don't want to die, but I'm willing to do that for what I believe in. That's the commitment. That's the commitment that you see from the other side of the gates that were put up a few weeks back. Okay? It's going to take more people. It's going to take people coming in to that movement. It's going to take the We Are Ohio, because really We Are Ohio is the we, no? We as Latino, we as the African American community, we as the LGBTQ community, we is women, it's men, it's children, it's homeless, it's immigrants, it's the undocumented. It's everyone, because we have a right to exist, and we are fighting those that hold the money on the very top, and that's Wall Street, and that's the corporations. This is actually a great spot, because from here I see Chase. All of you know some of the injustices that Chase is responsible for. Can I hear something about that? All right. There's Key Bank over there. There's Nationwide. Well, and let me say, some companies do great things, but they're still in control of what's happening. And I don't care what the great things they do. There's U.S. Bank. There's Huntington. So we are surrounded by that. And at some point, we are going to have to confront them in order for this to happen. That's what the Wall Street movement is about. That's what's happening across the country. And when I was at Wall Street about a month ago, that's what was happening as well. So there's no finish line here. This is not a campaign. This is a movement. This takes commitment. And I'm going to ask that you hold me accountable to that. It's more than being a Panera progressive or a latte liberal. And you know what? It's both parties. Let me just say that as well. It's the Republicans, it's the Democrats. Yeah, I usually don't get too many applause when I say that. But it's both. It's that system, because both parties are fighting to maintain that system. We need to break down that system. We need to go to the top. That's what Wall Street about. That's what Occupy Wall Street about. That's what I'm about. And I finally see that the log has been taken from my eye, if you want to use scripture. In a sense, it makes a little bit more sense to me now. All right? And so I'm going to ask you to join us. And let me just say that 99% involves the police officers that are here guarding this place. It involves the Capitol Square organization that let us be here. This is the only way that we can be here on this side of that fence, actually, is to come in as vote no on issue 2. But that's okay, because this is our land as well. And at some point, we're going to be, those people, raise your hand up there on the steps. That's where we need to be, right by that state police officer. Because you, sir, are part of that 99% as well. And you know what? It's inside those doors, those green doors as well, and out the back doors to 3rd Street, and keep on going. So please, join us. Listen to that voice inside of you. That voice is saying, it's from your experience, it's from your story, whatever it is, and join us. And let's change this world. This is a revolution. And don't be afraid to say the word revolution. This is a revolution, and I'm calling about a peaceful revolution, but it's a revolution nonetheless. Es una revolución. I like it in Spanish better. I like to say it in Spanish better. So that's what I'm calling for. That's what I'm committed to. And I know that there's people out there that are committed to as well. We cannot do it alone. We have to do it with other people. We have to create the space, what I call of multiple belongings, where we all feel this is about us, whether we're black, whether we're white, whether we're from other parts of the country or whatever. Occupy is creating a space of multiple belongings that's fighting the top evil. And that's what I'm calling for. That's what we need you for. That's what I'm committed to. And that's what I'm going to stay to the end. So my name is Rubén Herrera. I'm willing to die for what I believe in. And we're going to move forward together. Sí se puede. Gracias.
Thank you, Ruben. We're going to move across the spectrum of our community for a bit. I'm going to introduce a firefighter for you, one of the frontline people that we see on the streets sacrificing so much every day. Will Tim Close come on up and give us a few remarks, please?